From earaches to strep tests, there's MinuteClinic at CVS. See a provider, fill a prescription, and grab essentials. Or see us online with telehealth options. That's healthier made easier. Visit MinuteClinic at CVS today. Services vary by location. See MinuteClinic.com for details.
With MailChimp, you get more than a URL. You get an all-in-one marketing platform to help drive sales. With things like data-driven recommendations and powerful automation tools. Get started today at MailChimp.com/smartmarketing. MailChimp, built for growing businesses.
Hey everyone, this is the Almost World Podcast. Bringing to you mind-blowing interviews with guests from all over the world. So settle down, relax, and enjoy the show. Oh yeah, by the way, if you like the podcast, please support Almost World Podcast on Patreon. Your support is what helps the podcast improve more and more. And I have my friend Jertly Cools again. Bro, can you tell us something about yourself?
My name is not actually Jertly Cools, it's Juan Espinosa. But you can definitely call me Jertly Cools. I really love that you said that. I am living in Miami, Florida. That's something about myself. Bro, believe it or not, we got a little bit of a hurricane, and I thought other things were coming over here. If I look now, I haven't seen the update recently, but that one that just came was not that bad. It was just a little bit of rain where I was. Other people got, nothing too serious. I'm saying that in Florida does not compare to what happens over there in Louisiana. We're really lucky in the little pocket that we are. Miami specifically does not get touched. And where I am in Miami, I receive a lot of wind, but I don't receive rain. So, it's really weird, but I'm pretty protected here.
Yeah, it's really bad, or sad what's happening, especially now there's a pandemic. And then you got this hurricane, especially in people from Louisiana. You see all the floods. It's just really sad to watch people suffer.
And it's pretty constant. They were celebrating 15 years since what happened with Katrina. So very on point. They received another one, and I'm looking at it now. There's 3 more that are in our direction, but. Just one started going up towards Carolinas right now. So the Carolina right now is dealing with that, and they're not too ready for that. There's another one right there in Mexico forming that's enormous. It takes up the entire Gulf there. The hurricanes are getting crazy. It's just getting a whole, but that's just in my experience too. I've been watching the hurricanes for as long as I can, being that we live here, and honestly we always avoid it. It's always avoided. I don't know why we're so lucky in this little corner.
Yeah, and I don't watch a lot of news, but I've seen there's California forest fires. Is that right?
Oh man, on top of all of that, on this side the water is hitting it, on the other side there's fire. It's insanity. It's insanity. And suppose, I don't know if this is true, but you can I know that you can see the smoke from satellites and all that kind of stuff, and it's all going towards the west right now. But there's supposed to be changes where the wind might be pushing it towards the east, so all of the United States might be covered in that relentless smoke. It's insanity. Yeah, if that happens, I'm pretty sure that'll be like an omen to all the Christians over here.
And I talked to a friend, he is I guess very, very conservative, and he told me that he's preparing for civil war in the election. I don't know if it's true, but he said that all the gun stores are sold out, so you can't buy anything anymore because people are just preparing. Is that how true is that?
It is so
I guess
true.
It's fear,
It is so true that me, as a person who would never own any weapon, I grew up in liking martial arts and stuff like that. So seeing guns is like a disgrace to me. I would never want to own that. But just to fucking survive what these idiots are capable of, I should get something, I should be ready because you, even my own friends, my loves, all of them, we have
Mm-hmm.
arguments where they'll tell me, bro, you better be ready because they're going to come whether you like it or not. You know what I mean? And it could be just
Mm-hmm.
like how all these people
Who's gonna come?
right now, what's happening, and nobody knows, it's not that nobody knows. Honestly, everybody who wants to fight is a version of stupid. It doesn't matter what side you're on. You know what I mean? If you're willing,
True.
so those are all those extremists, and there's a lot of them because everybody's bored as fuck. Nobody's doing anything. So there's people who have been for a long time bored, not doing anything, preparing themselves for. I don't know. I don't know. I could say that this is a long time coming from something that was a long ago, an old story that has been kept being pushed in the little spaces that existed in America, and now the narrative has gotten to a point where it's very national. The president is supported.
Damn.
Yeah, yeah, it's the president. Even the president finds support. There are games that I played. There's a game called Rulers of Nation, and you never ever can support anybody because your people will automatically throw you out. Like that's natural. But that's the first thing our president does. I guess every president chooses something to support or whatever. But the point is that
Mm-hmm.
it's very national. The fight has become very national. It's still within extremists, but even I, who sit here, I don't want to fight anybody. I still would. I still get emotional. I still get defensive. I want to get on Facebook and start telling everybody you're a fucking idiot. All these kind of things, just because how I was raised, whether I like it or not. That's how I was raised, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody around me is kind of the same thing.
Yeah, but I want to understand then what is it that's people are fighting about. I know that the Democrats or Republicans like hate each other right now, and the two political parties are so far away and so just hate each other so much. What is the difference? I don't get it. Like,
Obviously, I look at everything from my point of view, and
mm-hmm.
you know, I keep on with the extremist thing. It doesn't matter what you give an extremist. You know what I mean? It's just fuel for a fire that they already have. So though it could easily be that the same people, are involved in inciting different sides of the thing. It could be agents, it could be a million different aspects, of either government intervention or people who, like I say, have been holding on to this. I'm trying to a grudge, holding on to a grudge, for a very long time, and the war is simply honestly, between Trump and not Trump. That's all it is. That's the overall thing.
Damn.
It doesn't matter that there's a whole bunch of things in between. That doesn't matter. It's just Trump or not Trump. And Biden is involved as well. So now it's Biden Trump. But those are just the names being given to this situation that has already been flaring up for a long time. And there are
Mm-hmm.
people fighting on both sides, just because they want to fight. There's a lot of youth going on, and youth is active, and like I said, doesn't have anything to do, especially. So imagine, in schools they teach you. I was taught all these things that made it seem like the world was a great place, or the United States was involved in the superheroism of the world, and everything was going great. And then as I get older, you start to be revealed, more and more truths, and you're like, what the fuck? I've honestly been. Um, what's the word, by being led by propaganda? Oh, indoctrinated. I've been indoctrinated
Yeah.
by American, even if it was something subtle, even if I couldn't understand it while it was happening. It's constantly happening, indoctrination. So when we grow up and we realize that we're being indoctrinated by the country that's supposed to be the freest, you know what I mean? Then, like,
Mm-hmm.
damn, everybody's angry, everybody's pissed, everybody's pissed. We celebrate.
Yeah, I can imagine like a lot of, for example, Trump supporters who are gun nuts and the NRA, and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the typical Christian conservative who just like loves America and fight for America first, and that stuff. And I can, and the other side, I can like see like a Democrat, maybe activist or liberal, or like rioting and
No,
speaking
no.
freedom. And
That's the problem.
what's the
It's
what's
not
the what's
so
the yeah.
it's not so black and white, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why it's difficult or complicated for people to try to pick a side, because honestly, I'm telling you, it's not about that. The people who are fighting because they want to fight and they're just finding a reason. But there are a lot of people and a lot of different groups of people who are involved on the Trump side just as much as there are on the Democratic side, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I honestly don't know how deep it gets, but I just see that, what I really see is it's because of the fact that I, love playing video games and everything. I compare everything to video games, and I consider everything to be a game, because that's what I think everything is. And these people have found a side to pick within a game. That's it. Now, who
Mm-hmm.
who are the people that are involved there? Yeah, some might be Christians, no, but some of them are KKK members that I don't know what that means. You know what I mean? Like I tell you KKK because that's what I've heard, but I've never met nobody in Alabama. I met one guy in Georgia, and he was just a little racist, just a tiny bit racist. It wasn't even that
Mm-hmm.
bad. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was just like, okay, I honestly haven't seen the type of person that in Miami, we don't see that. In Miami, none of that shit exists.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I talk to a lot of Americans, like from almost all states, because of my podcast, and I haven't seen like an outright racist, or I haven't talked to one,
Exactly.
or maybe I don't know, maybe they don't just use Facebook, or I don't know, I'm
No,
not
no,
sure.
I've seen people. Just the other day, I had a friend of mine saying something that was very racist, and he didn't realize how
Mm-hmm.
racist it was because it was just normal to him. So like I said,
Mm-hmm.
in Miami, it's we don't have the fight between, I guess, like hillbillies and blacks. Like there's no Black Lives
No,
Matters
no.
here. That doesn't happen. But we do have the Trump against the Biden, for the simple terms, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody here, since we are all Latino, we kind of fight each other, but verbally. You know what I mean? Like Latinos fight each other verbally for everything. It doesn't matter. So this topic isn't going to make us fight each other. I hope. You know what I mean? That's these are the aspirations that I have. I don't know if that's true
Mm-hmm.
because when there was looting and all that kind of stuff, that it happened here. It was small, but it was just a couple kids doing whatever they could to get whatever they can. You know what I mean? Like whatever. That's just the way shit works. So
Yeah.
it's
But what I think though it's happening is I guess because in the United States of America has various identities, like, and
many.
what happens is that in terms of like regionalism or statism, I think that's what's rising rather than looking at the whole of America. So it's like if you ask a Texan, they're more Texan than American.
There was
If
a
you you
time.
know.
There was a time for that, and maybe there are still some people in Texas who believe that. But but because Texas is supposed to be like the very proud state or whatever. But you'd
Mhm.
be amazed to see, when I talk to people online and stuff like that, and they're from different parts there, or I speak to them through the video games, and I'm talking to them. We're from different parts of the country, but we kind of are the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, I agree. But I guess that in terms of why people are trying to fight, it's more of an identity politics. That's how I
No,
see it.
no. They're just fighting. It has nothing to do with identity. To give it such a complication makes you want to give them more credit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's not so complicated. It's very simple. People want to fight because they feel that their ideals aren't being heard, or their not even that their ideals aren't being heard. I feel that my ideals aren't being heard because they're not being respected in the public space. So it's me as a I don't know what label to put myself as, but I guess I would say like center left or whatever, whatever center left. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm the one saying, "Oh, that's not the way things are," and everyone around me is saying, "That's the way things are." This is
Mm-hmm.
the way we want it. We want immigrants. The other day, there's a report that came out that women in Georgia are being performed hysterectomies without their consent, obviously, and so that's the shit that is being allowed under this space. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Damn.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
that is what they want. They don't understand that that's what they want. Yesterday, I'm arguing with a friend of mine over Facebook. I'm still waiting on his response. Everything he gave me was just rhetoric that Trump spouted out, and I actually believe this person is smart. So when I'm looking at him telling me that, I'm going, hold on a second. I respect you, and I think you're intelligent enough, but you are just spouting out the shit that's being told to you, and you're not doing anything for yourself to figure out whether any of that's true or hearing another side of it. So that's how simple it is. They just want to
Mm-hmm.
fight. People are looking for stimulus constantly, and when they find stimulus, they respond to it. So if I go on and I look in the news, all I got to do is look up three articles, and those three are going to say something about how bad Trump is as a person. After I see that, if I'm weak in my mind and I can't take that this person is like that and ruling, I can't take it. But I can understand that it's just a
Mm-hmm.
cycle, whatever. But there are people who don't.
Yeah, but I want to talk about the narrative that some people, for example, from the right, are using in a way to justify why they're fighting. I
What are
guess
you
that
hearing?
we could look at it from every individual's perspective, you know.
I could.
And I've been like reading some Quanans. I think I don't know like
Yeah,
how it's
QAnon
pronounced,
or
but Quanon,
yeah.
QAnon, yeah. It, well, I'm Filipino, so I don't really care about that stuff. But it's like conspiracy, Illuminati shit, you know. And actually, people like Americans believe this stuff, and they have like looked treated Trump as this messianic
Yep.
figure, chosen by God to save America from the pedophiles or the left, I guess, who are where the evil is the source of evil,
Yep.
and it's so funny, but it's so sad and scary to
Yes.
think that almost more than a million Americans believe this stuff,
Yes, it stopped being
and
funny a little while ago, man, when it started to become a
yeah,
national problem. I mean, they always say that that's the way it's been. We've always been a Christian country, and that's not true. We've gone through a whole bunch of religions, but not a whole bunch, but whatever. We always stayed on the Christian side. But the reality is that I believe Christianity is what allows that that
yeah.
avenue. You know what I mean? So it's not everybody that
Mm-hmm.
believes that, but everybody who's Catholic or Christian or that believes in Jesus believes in Trump. You know? And even okay,
Well,
fine, you're right, you're right.
mhm.
No, because my
I disagree about the Catholics, but more on just the Protestants. But I don't know.
I
But I guess that for example, like most Catholics are Latinos, right? So they're more reasonable.
you would think that.
I'm I'm just kidding.
I thought so too, and it's not even that. It really pisses me off as a Latino because the truth is that this country is filled
Mm-hmm.
with uneducated people, immigrants from different
Yeah.
countries. I am an
Mm-hmm.
uneducated person. My mother chose, after she became educated when she was 45. My father is an uneducated person. Like it is, I live in this fear of the uneducation. So I see that, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to, I don't want to attack anybody. The idea is
It's okay.
even my own parents, you know what I mean? Like what I see is that the stimulus thing. That's what I see. We get a lot of stimulus constantly. Everything's being thrown at us all the time. So we have to pick and choose what it is that we want to be responsive to. And right now, the only thing that we have is here sitting in the house. And there's a whole bunch of news being thrown at you, and the president's a piece of shit, or the president thinks that everybody else is a piece of shit, and you're gonna pick either side. If you're not doing anything,
Mm-hmm.
if you're unemployed or you're uneducated and you don't have anything to devote your energy to, then that's what you're going to devote your energy to, and that's what's happening with the,
Mm-hmm.
with the youth now and the old people here in Miami that fucking get into their boats and into their cars and do huge things. What are they doing? Don't you have to work? How many people did you organize to be able to do a rally of this? Like, there's no Trump. It's just them holding up Trump flags. What are they doing with their lives? How are they doing that? How come I have to sit here and work and they can go do that? and they're Trump supporters, and Latinos, and they have all these big cars and big boats. So what who the fuck is supporting Trump? I want to understand. I would love if we would sit down for real and just talk to somebody for real, okay, and see what it is, how it is that they can convince me.
Mm-hmm.
That would be great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have?
I guess that if the if a civil war would happen, I would just presume it would just be riots. That's all.
Yeah, of course. No, why would I go outside? They're like, oh, there's a civil war going on. Oh, I'm going to stay inside. And I guarantee you 95% of the people are going to do that. And there'll be a little percentage of people who go out and fight, of course, which is the fear, which is why I say that even in that moment, you should have a gun, because any dumbass can come up to your place and choose you. They're going to choose somebody. It might be you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But and then there's this growing fear that's fueling all of this, and not just fear but added with hate.
It's a
And
narrative.
this is
It's a
just
narrative.
yeah,
It's not a real fear.
it
It's the
is.
same thing that happened during all these 2012 things, and every year there's something new to bring fear to bring fear
Mm-hmm.
for, and that's what they're doing. That's just what they're doing. This is what's happening this year. And by November, we're gonna see for sure what's gonna happen, and you're gonna see that it's gonna be the smallest thing in the world. Like it's not gonna, it's gonna be completely normal. Trump might win again because that's just the way things work, and everybody se va a callar, or they're gonna stay quiet, and they're gonna enjoy another 4 years of this insanity that we've been living, and then hopefully it'll be over then. That's the
Mm-hmm.
best case
Yeah.
scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Or
But like I wouldn't want America to be in a civil war because a lot of countries would like with evil agendas. There are countries with evil agendas there, and they're probably gonna take advantage of that.
of course, everybody who's going to make money off of it, and the amount of people that will die for
Mm-hmm.
nothing. That's why a narrative should be pushed that no matter what, politics should not include the actual person. It's something that just has to do with politicians. So if anybody wants to
Mm-hmm.
fight, put Biden and Trump in a ring and see what happens. You know what I mean? That's it. That's all you want. You guys want to fight? Put them in a ring. Put your champions in a ring. But they want to fight. These people are killing each other now. A civil war has already begun because two people from these factions have already killed each other. You know, so it's already here. It already began, and it's not. I hope it's not moving further than that. Maybe that's enough to scare people and be like, okay, let me stay away from these things. But that's not what I'm seeing. And people want to die. There's a lot of people out there who
Mm-hmm.
want to die.
And when you said that there's just people wanting to fight, it's really funny because I've been watching a lot of videos of Karens in America just crying just what because they don't want to wear a mask and they feel oppressed because of it.
Yep.
I I can't understand why it's a problem for America. Like in other countries, I don't see something that like that happen. I don't know. I'm not
I
sure.
don't want. I actually asked that question because there's a couple things that I've seen around the world, but I've always seen that they had some sort of tie to America, where there's distrust of the government is always tied to America in some way. Any country,
Mm-hmm.
when they have some sort of like problem with their people, it's always America somehow involved. And here, what I was that I don't want to go into the conspiracy too much or whatever, but yesterday I saw that somebody wrote that they're from the inside of that. They live within that world. They were raised within that world, and that these people. That's why I keep saying about they just want to fight. But there's also maybe a group of people who are focused on what they're doing, and what they're doing is, trying to bring back an order that they consider to be the right one, and they've been at it for a long time. And in history, those kind of things end up prevailing. you know, it might take a while, but history changes constantly. The world, the countries, and everything ends up changing. So it could easily be that now there will be a nationalist white power movement, and it's going to show its face. It might not succeed, it might not win out, but it's going to show its face.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, it's
Yeah.
already showing its face, but it's going to show its teeth, and people are going to die. More
Mm-hmm.
people are going to die.
Hopefully, this would happen like after the coronavirus thing ends.
No, and on top of all of that, the coronavirus. Well, how's it going in your country? What kind of news are you guys getting about vaccines and stuff like that?
Well, the vaccines are like already coming because we have like the first on the list with Russia because our president is like friends with them.
Okay.
But in terms of the rising numbers, it's getting down and just almost like a few thousand now
Wow. And
cases.
you guys have been quarantining, or
Yeah, yeah, but the economy has been good actually, and classes are coming back on.
wow. What happened? How did you guys get over it so easily?
Well, it's not that it was easy, because I guess that a lot of anti-government people didn't want to quarantine or stuff like that, but the Duterte put his put
What
his
happened?
foot down, and yeah, and he just enforced the rules. And we Filipinos, we don't like hate the government. We actually love stronger governments because in a way, like if you're a hard working person, an average voting citizen, you would want a government to keep the law and just keep everyone safe. And even if it does bring you to lose your job, or that you can't work or make money off of it, people don't blame the government for that. They sort of adapt because they understand the situation. That's what's happening. Especially, well, that's the trait of a Filipino. Like, we're resilient. Yeah.
And over there, the economy is restrained by
Yes.
the government in some way, or like controlled by the
Well,
government, or
well, yeah, yeah. A lot of like entertainment businesses are still closed, but the rest are on. And what's happening is just social distancing, masks, and like security guards put alcohol in your hands. That's it.
oh, wow, is security guard to do it? That's great.
Yeah. Well, when you enter like a mall, guards will like spray on your hands and then like
Yeah,
give
yeah,
you a temperature check. That's it. That's it. That's
that's
it.
cool. That's actually really cool. No, I
Yeah.
believe that I know that the mask situation might be a little bit too uncomfortable even for me. I don't know how people
Mm-hmm.
work with it. Like, I'm glad I don't have to work with it because I would hate it. But
Mm-hmm.
I believe that all of this is opening the door to a world of better hygiene overall. And I
Mm-hmm.
know because when I kept animals, when you keep more than 10 animals in one place, diseases come up like nothing. You have to keep it really
Yeah.
clean. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So imagine 10 humans, just 10 humans. Imagine 100 humans, 200 humans in a building all the time.
Yeah. Well, when I look like, for example, at a video with like millions of or thousands of hundreds of thousands of people in a stadium, and I think
Yeah,
about our situation in the coronavirus, like, whoa, that is so.
envisioning,
Why
doing the
people
wave.
like,
No,
yeah,
when we look at movies now and we see people close together, we're like, whoa.
whoa.
That's too close. No, it's the world is going to change for a better hygiene. There are a lot of things that we can
Mm-hmm.
take risks on. Maybe social distancing is a good thing to do normally, and maybe it's not necessary. Like the masks aren't
Mm-hmm.
necessary. But overall,
Mm-hmm.
all these things happen, and the world becomes better for it. That's completely natural. But
Mm-hmm.
when it's a natural thing, not a human-made thing, not something involved. I don't mean the disease or something like that. I mean like the politics and everything happening. Letting the world
Mm-hmm.
do what it does is no trouble, but letting people take advantage of what happens with the world has proven to be troublesome in the United States.
Mm-hmm. For me, like I understand why America is actually sort of experiencing like fight back or against the quarantine measures, because what's happening I think is that America the systematic way America sets its economy is that it just can't stop. If it stops, then everything goes down, or an economical aneurysm happens. For example, when the pork or beef industry, when restaurants close down, the farms or like in livestock farms won't sell a lot of pork and stuff, and then everything gets wasted, and so it's a vicious cycle. And I think that's what's happened because America has been too efficient to stop. That's what I think.
I think it's because they use projected money to do their business.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
when they make anything, they do anything, they're like, oh, we're gonna work for 3 million, but we have to make these 300 million, and you work all that, and then if they don't make it, if for some
Yeah,
reason they
yeah,
can't
yeah.
make that money, they have to fire everybody. But me not being an economist, or unfortunately, I'm learning finance now, but I can't say that I know anything about finance. In my simple view, it would have been easier, just like in every single country, to shut every single thing down. Obviously decide what you're going to be, the really important things, and everybody stays calm. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
needs to pay anything, rent, everything, banks, everything is shut down, everything, so that
Mm-hmm.
there wouldn't be a moving digit. But they don't know how to do that. We don't have that kind of centralized system. All the states, all the cities would have to
Mm-hmm.
do that. Everybody would have to get together to do that, and we don't have that kind of connection between all of us. So that's
Yeah, I guess that
if we.
you were right. Yeah, everybody lives off of projected money. Like for example, in the Philippines, like 90% of people own their houses like fully, and
Wow.
mortgage isn't a thing here.
Wow.
So when I look at American movies, especially, like, why are they paying for their houses? They own their houses. you know so
That's
it's
good.
I guess like you're paying rent for your own home, so
Yeah,
also
yeah.
they don't really own their home. They're just
No, no,
paying
no.
rent, or they owe the
Nothing
bank for
here.
their house.
Every
Yeah.
dollar owned is a dollar in debt. That's an actual science here. Every single dollar
Mm-hmm.
owned is a dollar in debt. So
Yeah.
there's absolutely no owning. You even once you own, you still have to pay taxes and all that kind of stuff. So and I
Mm-hmm.
don't think they could take it away once you finish paying off the bank or all that. I haven't gotten to that point of understanding yet, but I do know that during a mortgage, you pay your mortgage for 25 years. You can't pay your mortgage for a year or something. Your house is gone. They're taking your house or something. I don't know if it's really like that. Maybe they have
Damn.
but yeah, the point is that everything is working off of projected money and loans and all that. I can't stand it.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. It's crazy because it opens a lot to
Mm-hmm.
speculation, and it gives people the opportunity to make a lot of leverage money, and it's insanity. And that's exactly what's driving our economy down to the ground. But
Mm-hmm.
whatever, that's what they want to do. I'm gonna go move to the Philippines, bro. I'm gonna save up some money and I'm gonna go move over there because I don't mind the
But
third
bro,
day.
I can tell you, like, you could live like less than $1 a day here. It's just so cheap.
What? Wow.
Yeah, like food is so cheap, because and then like you won't like you'll have to eat like rice every day,
Right. That's
three
fine. That's
times a
fine.
day.
That's fine. That's fine.
That-
Is it with anything? Do
that
they put salt on it?
yeah. No, not
Okay,
well.
that's
You
fine.
got also a meal like steak, chicken, whatever you want to match it. But
But with
most of your
rice.
diet will consist of rice. So
That's,
we live off of that.
that's very cool.
So
Thank you. I'd love to hear those things. Please tell me more of that. Okay. You said don't happen here at all. Even the mortgage thing that killed me. Okay, that's a good joke to tell in America. It's really funny. What the hell's a mortgage?
yeah, exactly. Like, What's so why they're paying for their cars? They don't own their cars as well. Like, yeah,
No,
that
the
that.
cars, thankfully, the cars we they do have a system where you can pay a car off in full. You know, pay more. You still
Yeah,
pay
yeah,
insurance for the car.
yeah. Mm-hmm. I agree.
Thankfully,
And
thankfully.
but so in that case, then what I think is actually that kind of system where people live off of projected money is actually why are one of the reasons why America is so progressive. You know, because
Of course,
you
of
could
course.
live off of the future, your own the work you do for the future. You know, so
Definitely. But you have to be the one who's smart enough to get to the top so that when the things fall, you're not at the bottom. The government here,
yeah.
when what recently happened, so that you understand where the inconsistencies lie, right? There are
Mm-hmm.
you're saying that all right, we have this progressive system where we can live off of fake money, honestly, and eventually that money will become real or whatever. But the when the crash happens, they don't they think that if they give money to the hedge funds, which is hedge funds are companies that are investing, companies that are made to invest for families, okay, for
Mm-hmm.
very rich families. That's what hedge fund is. Okay, a very rich family wants to make investments. They hire a group of people that will just invest for the family by itself. So the Fed, the people who control the money in this country, is not the government. It's a private corporation that controls the money, and they regulate the way the money is valued and
Mm-hmm.
what would you say, distributed or whatever. They
Mm-hmm.
gave money to all of those hedge funds so that those hedge funds wouldn't lose money on the drop. They would have enough money to pull out because of the fact that they use projected money. Even in that thing, they use projected money. So they paid all those people so that when they lost money, it wouldn't be so bad. But then we have a
Mm-hmm.
total of like 38 million people without jobs. Unemployment
Wow.
is paying. You know what I mean? Like there's a huge system that a lot that is because of all of those things. When something bad happens, especially when you don't have regulations, and that's why we have a country of regulations. You know, and the problem with
Mm-hmm.
people like Trump and all that is that they bring regulations down. So they're trying to
Mm-hmm.
strip regulations while allowing for this free market, but the free market is really just rich people paying themselves. You know what I mean? Buying stuff and paying themselves,
Yeah.
selling little scraps off to people, and then just keep enriching themselves while everybody else doesn't even have a job to buy the stuff. And the problem is that there is a big group of people who can still keep buying, so they keep driving prices up.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is that the only those like educated enough to understand what's happening actually see what should be done. And so like people like trust in Bernie Sanders to do the job, but well, unfortunately he lost, you know.
Yep, that's it. But now, whatever, well, that's the whole point. It's up to us. It's not up to Bernie Sanders. It's completely up to us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
and
don't
so
know how educated I am, but
but how would you right now, like as you see America, because what direction should America take? Because there might be a civil war, but might be not. But but what one thing is for sure is that the right and the left will still hate each other as like more than ever in history. So what do you
yeah.
think they should do?
Well, unfortunately, I don't have a concept just for America because what's
Mm-hmm.
happening is just like a worldwide thing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's a
Yeah.
human condition. You know? So
True.
first we have to attack that human condition, and I can't say what I would want America to do because I know that I since I don't have any heritage, I don't consider myself to be from anywhere. I'm really just from right here, from Miami. This is what I know. You know, this is what I don't have. I never had grandparents. I know that my heritage comes from a country on the other side of the thing. But the truth is that you know I don't consider myself to have heritage. So the last thing that I have is American heritage. When I go to America, they don't care for what I have to say. You know what I mean? I just live in
Mm-hmm.
this tiny little part. So I don't ever want to tell an American how America should be run because they would consider me to be outside, an outsider. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So
Really?
yeah, so yeah, I don't even I like I wish that I could say, oh yeah, I want to be president, all these kind of things, but the truth is that I know America doesn't see the world like I do, you know. And
Damn.
since I don't have the heritage, I know that nobody in Cuba sees the world like I do. You know what I mean? So it's just like here in Miami, in this tiny little part where we can see that what the world needs is a reconditioning. You know, what humanity needs is a reconditioning. But that's not going to
Mm-hmm.
happen. So I try to stay away
But
from
what
civil.
does it feel like to be in a country where you can't dream to be the president of your own country? Like that's every child's dream.
It is every child's dream. I hope it is. I want everybody to try to be that because the truth is, if Donald Trump can do it, anybody can do it. But
Yeah.
I hope anyway. I hope. But the truth is that no, to see how things are right now, it's I try not to get sad about it, but it is difficult
Mm-hmm.
because it's so much, so many people who would just fight with nothing. You know, they have nothing. They just go, I tell
Mm-hmm.
them, what do you love about Trump? And they can't tell me anything. They just tell me what a post told them or something. So it's just
Mm-hmm.
fighting with a whole bunch of animals.
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
But and yeah, and but when you look at like other countries, like for example China, and you compare America to China, America has its freedoms, you know, and everything, liberated and proud of its own country. And you could also like look at China, like every Chinese person is actually proud of being Chinese. and
Yeah, of
and
course.
but the thing is that I guess that the government's authority is a lot more compared to their own freedoms and privileges. So it's a there's a price to pay for everything, I guess, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all been trade-off. I would really love to speak to a Chinese person to see what they consider their freedoms to be or non-freedoms. You know what I mean? Like because I saw
Mm-hmm.
something I think it was on Netflix about kids expressing themselves in China. They did like a little documentary about how they even though the Chinese the officials don't want them to be rappers and stuff like that, they still rap. I think it was about them rapping. You know, it was something simple but beautiful because they felt that they needed to express themselves in a way that they weren't able to, you know? And so they were very quirky, but in reality, they just looked like anime characters. You know, so I don't know if they're just
Yeah.
following what they see. You know, I don't know what it is that they do. They also rap, and I don't. But I would love to. You're telling me that do you feel you don't have freedoms in the Philippines?
Bro, like I feel like I'm much more freer than America.
I'm like,
And
I don't understand what the hell's freedom. What the hell? Can you go outside and live in the forest for a little while and nobody bothers you? Like, can you go to a park
yeah,
and
yeah,
go to sleep there? Yeah,
totally,
yeah,
totally.
yeah. Here,
And
if you go touch
mhm.
a rock, they could take you to jail.
What?
For touching a rock in the wrong place or taking something from the ocean or there's a plant that I want. It's called the water lettuce, and it's illegal to have them.
Mhm. Damn, you know, when I was a kid, like I was like in eighth grade, I went I climbed the mountain, and because I brought all my grandfather's like tools, like and I cut down like a lot of trees up there, and I made a little tent for myself, like a little
You're
cabin.
cheating. Oh my,
Yeah,
you have lived the dream, Elmo. Oh my God. I'm gonna go live over there. I don't know what the fuck I'm still doing in this bay. What is the language?
but it's a Tagalog, or well, we have like every island has its own language. So, but we have a national language, and we also speak English, and it's taught in our schools. And
Wow.
yeah, so
Look at that. And
to
so
be
I
honest,
live
like
this.
I speak three languages right now.
My God. And that's taught to you. That's what's given to you, so that you could be a
Yeah,
part of the
yeah.
system. That's
Mm-hmm.
insanity. Those are freedoms. Those are this giving you everything possible so that you can
Mm-hmm.
succeed. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, but there are like
honestly,
mm-hmm.
what there what
And there are like well, disadvantages though, because for example, like if you look at my passport, the only visa-free countries I can go to are like 30 countries. But compared to someone from Europe or America or Canada, like I guess that you could almost like go to every country without a visa, right? And
What do you mean
and
without
for
a
me
visa?
that like yeah, visa, you can go to another country visa free with your American passport, but with the like a Filipino passport, it's limited to like 30 countries where the Philippines has like deals and whatnot. So it's really really hard for someone like from Asia or a third world country to like travel, and it will have to take like 3 to 4 months to plan because you gotta apply for a visa, you know. And for me, like that's something that's yeah.
I see that as opportunity, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
I
It
don't
is.
I don't see that as well. I mean, I obviously understand from your point of view that you can't do that. You feel you can't do the things, but you can do them. It just costs you more money, right? That's the
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah. Exactly.
These
Yeah. True.
motherfuckers.
True.
That's just their system, bro. They just want to fucking take as much as they can. That's what they do. I'm sorry about that. I would
Mm.
rather go over there. Trust me.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Look, look,
There are like very very progressive like cities, like compare like similar to what America has, but most of the Philippines is just farms, like it's just farms and coastal areas with fishermen. That's all.
that's rural area. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And you guys,
Yeah.
when you guys farm over there, is it farming for the country or is it farming for yourselves? Or
No, it's for yourself. Like we're democracy, and so and you know what? Because of America and Spain, because we were colonized by Spain, like we're the only Christian country in like Asia, I think.
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. It,
Spain.
what? Mhm. And but in terms of like I guess freedom, well, we're pretty free. We're one of the freest countries in Asia because I guess because we're a democracy. Like surrounding countries are more of like Muslim theocracies,
But how do they do how do they do their life?
communist countries,
Are they living
military.
is
Yeah.
it the same lifestyle, rural or
Yeah, it's pretty much the same like in Vietnam and Thailand. It's just mostly farming, and then but in the cities, of course, that's where like everything happens for them. Yeah.
and the
So
businesses?
like for example, in Myanmar, it's like a military regime, or yeah. So their government is like controlled by the military. So
Wow,
mm.
I heard about the whole Myanmar.
Yeah. And so
No,
I'm guessing that like immigration would actually be like for immigration, Asians would prefer to go to Western countries if you ask them, if what would they would prefer.
everybody always wants to be away from where they are.
Yeah, true.
Wherever they are. It's just because of what we know. When you say, you were able to
Mm-hmm.
go climb mountains at your age, that's what I wish I would have had in my infancy so that I could have enjoyed those things, Now that I'm getting older, I don't know if I can climb a mountain and do all those kind of things. But I gotta do it before I pass, bro. But I don't know any other life than this. I have no
Yeah,
idea.
but the funny thing is the first time I climbed that mountain, I brought my camera. I had no plans. I didn't tell my parents where I would go because I was like this Tom Sawyer kid with my camera and just doing what I wanted to do. And so I trekked this mountain and it had no path. It's just bushes and everything. And so I when I got to the top, it's really tall mountain, and then I enjoyed myself there and did everything I want. But when I tried to come back to town, I got lost, and dude, like I was freaking scared. Like I had no idea where I was. I had no idea where the direction I should go. But the only thing that I knew what to do was like you just go the downhill. That's it, Downhill is home, but and then I was like Tom Hanks in his movie,
Castaway?
what was that? Castaway. But the funny thing is that I decided I was like shouting, everyone like help me, I'm lost. And then the best thing, like the silver lining there, is that I saw a metal tube of water, and that leading to maybe possibly a town or part of town, and I just followed that, and then I got out of that. But like 5 hours, I got lost for 5 hours. And if I like if my family looked for me, they would have no idea I even went to a mountain. So I could have freaking died there.
And no, you were not going to die there, Elmo. You are human, okay? You made it much farther, okay?
Amen.
Don't worry. That's how we started it off. You went the path, okay? You did the path.
Yeah.
You cut things down. You built your house. You got lost. You went home. It's insanity. That's what I want my kids to go through that, like for sure. I definitely want to push my child to that.
Yeah, but if you ask me, like it was an experience I would not I didn't regret. I would have like prepared more, like brought water or more clothes, but well, it happened, It is what
Did
it
you go out
is.
again?
Yeah, and then after that, because I mastered the path, I was like
Right.
the master. I felt like the master outdoorsman, so I brought my brothers there and my friends. So we started like making camp in the mountain, and it became like a every 2 months thing for us.
Wow. That's a dream. Maybe if I lived a little bit more Central Florida, I'd be able to experience something like that. That is it.
Yeah.
Here
Cool.
we have public bathrooms and clubs to do that in. That's what we got. That's all we got. They can't make camp, but we can stay there for like 2 days or something.
I guess that like if you ask me, like even if you're like in North Korea, that a lot of people would say like, oh, that's such a sad situation, being ruled by like some fat dude like Kim Jong Un. But I guess that if you are born there and you have like no choice but to live, I still believe that humanity can find happiness in the darkest situations.
Oh, of course.
And,
No.
yeah.
They're living right now through what everybody lived through in the 50s and the 60s. And I mean, not here in the United States, but I mean, what the world was for everybody. And it's unfortunate, but that's just the beginning stage, They'll get over that, and they're I don't know, they have farms, right? There's a lot of farming going on over there, but
Yeah.
I've only seen
But the sad thing is, like, when you go to outer space and look at the part of
No
North
light.
Korea, it's just no lights there.
Yeah, I saw.
That tells you a lot.
That's just under development, man. Eventually his regime will pass. I hope. I heard that he's been gone or something. His sister took over or something.
Lol, that's a myth.
Oh.
It's not true.
I have not heard anything else since then, so I was like, oh, that's what happened. But there hasn't been any news for us here. Nobody's talking about North Korea right now. And everybody was like, oh, Trump made friends with North Korea. They stopped being friends, and that's it. North Korea went back to go doing whatever they were doing.
Yeah. And like, I want to ask you one last thing, because it's been awesome talking to you, man. Almost an hour now. Yeah.
That's all. Yeah.
And my question is, if because you're an American, and you live in Florida, what sort of vision do you have, or at least like desire or goal for what America should be in maybe 2021?
Well, I try not to suggest, but the reality is that the only choice that we have is Biden. Apparently, I'm still gonna write in Bernie. So what I just want America to be aware of is that politics isn't us. So I would love for us to kind of like stop giving so much attention to politics, negative. I don't know honestly, because it's such a big
Mm-hmm.
fight that I want to discover what the root of the problem is before I even start saying anything. And I do
Mm-hmm.
actively want to discover what the root of the problem is and start attacking that. As close as we get to the elections, maybe we start putting out a couple of videos and stuff like that about, I don't know. That's the point. What would you, if you were to talk to these people to try to derail them, what would you say to them?
Mm-hmm. I would say that you question your beliefs, because you were taught or probably raised to believe what you believe right now. But if you like question them and be open to more things and talk to one another, I guess that's it. Like talk to if you're a Republican, talk to a Democrat. If you are a racist white man, talk to some uh, people who you don't like, and I believe that when we talk, that's where we understand each other. That's where we start to work together, you know.
I agree with that wholeheartedly, and that message is so simple that it's just not enough.
Yeah, true.
That has to be beaten into their brains for them to understand that. Okay,
Yeah,
that's how
yeah,
that's
I
how
agree.
awesome that message is, and that they don't fucking get it. And I that's exactly what I would like to try to do, and try to make a maybe some sort of like imagery that'll help inspire that. But
Mm-hmm.
but but we'd have to figure out who we're talking to. You know,
Mm-hmm.
nobody. I
Yeah.
don't know America. I don't know what these people want. I don't know what the hell they want to do. All I know is that no matter what happens, the only thing we have is to. I wish it was more like like everywhere else, where you can kind of just live your own life and not worry about government. But since we live
Yeah.
we live in cities, and for the most part we mostly live in cities and stuff like that. There's a lot of rural, and those people, that's why they vote for Trump, because they don't care. Nothing affects them. You know what I mean? They eat off
Mm-hmm.
their own land, or they have systems within their own region where they can constantly get food and stuff like that. They have that set up, but we don't have that. We kind of depend on those supply lines. So if a
Mm-hmm.
government wants to cut something off, they can destroy supply lines to cities, and cities get ravaged. You know what I mean? Like there's a food shortage. There's a food shortage. There's people not getting food. You know what I mean? And God knows where that leads. So I don't know. I'm
Mm-hmm.
starting to rant and rave, because the truth is that I agree with you 100% on that message. I myself don't have one. I just want to keep seeing what's happening. I want to keep observing what's
Yeah.
happening, and I want to jump in at the right time.
Okay. Yeah, and dude, thank you so much. So that's the end of it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. This is your host, Elmo Ador Jr. And thank you for listening in. And please subscribe. Please follow us on Facebook. Please follow this. Please. Thanks.
It used to be hard to find the exact auto parts you needed, and that meant spending a lot of time at swap meets. It's a different game now when you can order exactly what you need from eBay Motors. They have 122 million parts, so you can always find the right fitment. Spend less time searching and more time building with the eBay Motors app, or visit ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
Holidays are here, and so is fashionable fitness. Gift yourself a Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3 5G, a phone that folds in half to literally stand on its own. Pair it with the Galaxy Watch 4 for ultimate wellness and wow factor. Check health stats, flex personal records. Over 90 activities can be tracked, like biking, swimming, golfing, and more. Invest in yourself with tech made to crush goals. Holidays open up with Galaxy. Shop it all at Samsung.com. 5G connection and availability may vary. Check with carrier. Products sold separately.